about 4 months here at the Kailua Racket Club, so feeling very lucky to be here. You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I'm Megan. I am Mariah.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Taryn.
Oh, nice to meet you guys. All right. So today we're going to be working on our volley. So I'm going to go over the fundamentals of our volley. To start off, we're going to do a little warm-up game. We're going to warm up our technique and everything. And then we're going to do a cooperative drill. And then we're going to end with a point game. So Taryn, would you like to go ahead and demonstrate for me? Could you just stand right in front of me right there? So I'm going to have 2 balls in my hand right here. And I'm going to toss the ball to Taryn. So I'm going to toss it to her outside hand here. And what I want her to do is catch with one hand. So I'm going to toss kind of cross court here. And she's going to catch. One thing I want you guys to focus on is catching with your opposite foot, stepping forward and catching with one. So we're kind of mimicking our volley footwork here, just kind of warming up that kind of crossover step. So here, so I'm going to toss the ball. Ready, toss and catch. Good. Toss it back to me. Good. Ready, other side, toss, catch. Good. Toss back. 10 catches and then swap partners. Okay? So do you guys remember which foot we need to step forward with when we're catching? Yeah, our opposite foot, stepping forward with our opposite foot. Are we catching with one hand or 2 hands? One hand, good. And how many successful catches are we doing before we swap? 10, exactly. All right, let's do it, you guys. Here we go. Okay. Let's count them out. Let's count them out.
Don't trick me.
2, 0.
No negatives.
Good. So we're going to be working on the basics of our volley today, right? So there's 3 main things that I want you guys to focus on. Firstly, our grip. We want to use the continental grip. That's going to be the first thing. So our continental grip, we're just going to go ahead and kind of hold it. Oh, it's also called the hammer grip, right? So kind of how you would hold a hammer. It's a little bit different to our forehand and our backhand grip. We want our hand kind of directly in the middle of our ridge right over here. So I'm going to come around and check everybody. Good. Second thing, with our volleys, we're kind of close up to the net, right? So we have less time to react to the ball than if we would if we were at the baseline. So 2 things that are really important for our reaction time. Firstly, we want to keep our racket always out in front and in front of our face here. We never want our racket to kind of drop down. If our racket drops down, we're going to have less time to react to the ball. It's likely might hit us or hit us in the face, which I'm sure none of you want that. So we always want to have our kind of elbows out and in front, racket up and ready to go. This is going to be our kind of ready position when we're at the net. Another thing that's incredibly important when we're at the net with our volleys is our footwork, right? So we don't want to be just kind of flat on our feet, kind of standing here. Our footwork is really important for our reaction times as well. We want to be on our toes. We want to time our split step. And we want to make sure, again, just like our little warm-up kind of drill that we did, that we're stepping forward with our opposite foot. Here we go. So split step. So we want to time our split step, step forward with our opposite foot. So forehand, go. All right, so I'll have you guys just watch my demo really quick here. So I'm going to time the split step right when my opponent is kind of making contact with the ball. That's when I want to time my split step. So ready here, this is what it's going to look like. So split. So the first thing, grip. Our grip, right? Yeah. Our grip. What was the second thing?
Rack it up.
Rack it up and in front, exactly. And what was the third thing as well?
Footwork.
Our footwork, where are we stepping? So if I'm hitting a forehand, which foot do I want to step forward with?
Opposite.
The left. Yes, excellent.
If you're.
Yeah. Opposite foot. How long are we going to be rallying with our partner?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. And then where are we going to rotate?
To the left.
To the left. So Peter's going to come around here. Mariah's going to go here. And Taryn, you're going to take Peter's spot. Okay, let's begin. Here we go. Good. Good. Here we go. Control the ball. Here we go. Keep that racket out in front. Make sure we're timing our split step as well. Here we go. doing a cooperative drill. All four of us are going to be doing one rally. So this is what I like to call the butterfly drill. I think it's really, really great for kind of controlling our volleys. So this side will begin with cross court. That side will begin with down the line. What we're working on here is just kind of learning to control our volleys, but also I want you guys to think about where your strings are pointed, right? So the ball will tend to follow wherever our strings are pointed. So I grab my ball here. If I want to aim cross court, I typically want to aim my strings a little bit more cross court. So if I have my backhand here, I'm going to hit kind of cross court here, and I'm going to point my strings towards the direction there. So if I want to hit down the line, I'm just going to open up my racket a little bit more, right? So I'm going to open up my racket here and hit down the line. I want you guys to get to a rally of 10 altogether, so if we miss a ball or if a ball bounces, we're going to start again. So let's try to get a rally of 10 before we swap, okay? What was a couple things that I talked about with our strings, right? Wherever the strings are pointed, that's where the ball is going to go, right? So you guys are aiming cross court. Where do we want to point our strings? Cross court, yes, exactly. You guys are going where? Down the line, exactly. So where should we point our strings? We need to make sure we're turning our shoulders and opening up our racket just a little bit more. Okay, just at the end. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep it going. 11, 12, 13. Oh. All right, we're gonna swap angles now. So this team, you guys are now going down the line, and you guys are going where? Cross court. Excellent. All right. You can go ahead, Peter. You can start the feed now. So you're hitting down the line. Yep. Here we go. 1, 2, good. 3, 4. We're going to be doing a non-cooperative drill now. We're going to be playing out points. So now instead of starting right in the middle of the service box here, I want you guys to start right at the service line here. Okay? I want you guys to practice kind of moving forward and closing in. So for our points here, I'm going to be feeding the ball into Taryn. She's going to hit that first ball wherever she wants, and then you guys can kind of close in after that. So one thing I want to see, I'm talking about closing in here. I mean that I don't want you guys just staying right at the kind of service line here, right? Because it's really easy for our opponents to just hit right to our feet. We don't want to hit right at our feet. We don't want them to hit right to our feet, because then we're just kind of popping the ball up and then they'll kill us, right? So what I want you guys to do, so after she hits that first ball, we can kind of close in here. So I want you guys to take a couple of steps forward and move in. This is where it's going to be super important that we're keeping our racket in front of our bodies, right? Because we want to be the aggressor. We want to kind of close in and finish with those volleys. So make sure, split step, and we're stepping forward. And after our next volley, we're still continuing to move forward and closing in through here as well. I'll feed one to Taryn and one to Megan, and then we're going to play the point out. We're going to go first to 15, and a volley winner is going to be 2 points, okay? So what are we playing to? 15, and volley winner is how many points? 2 points, excellent. All right, let's go ahead. Here we go. Good. Oh, volley winner. 2-0. Here we go, Megan. Get ready. Let's go. Good. Oh. Nice. Oh. Megan, make sure that racket's out in front. You were a little kind of square on there with your hips, and you were kind of stepping out. Make sure we're still stepping forward with our opposite foot. 7. Here we go, Megan. Good. Nice. Good. Yes, he popped up that volley. Punish him for it. 7-14. Game point. Here we go. Good. Oh, nice. 7-15. All right, let's swap ends, everybody. Swap ends. But yeah, what were a couple things that we worked on? Let's go to the very, very beginning. Our grip. Yeah, that was the first thing. The continental grip, the hammer grip.
Yeah.
And what was the second thing that I told you guys about?
Keep your racket
Racket out in front, right? Otherwise, if our racket's dropping at all, we're going to get hit in the face, and our reaction time is going to be slower. And then what was the last problem? probably one of the most important things.
Moving your feet.
Moving your feet. But
Step
what about
across.
stepping across with our opposite foot, right?
Yeah.
And moving forward. Moving forward. That's going to be one of the most important things as well. All right. So we did our little warm-up game where we just kind of practiced our little footwork there, which was great. And then we did our kind of cooperative drills where we kind of worked on, what was a couple of things from the cooperative drills there, guys?
Aiming your strings where you want the ball to go.
Yeah, strings where you want the ball to go, right? And then how to correct it if we're kind of missing a few shots in the net. There's a few shots going into the net there. I think that's just because our strings were kind of pointed straight, rather than it just needs to be slightly open. But also if it's going like really, really far open and kind of floating a little bit, making sure to close it just a little bit. But yeah, and then we played our little game there at the end, which is super fun. Always one of my favorite drills to do, games to do with you guys. So what were a couple things that we learned from that drill?
Hit it down the middle.
Line,
Yeah.
wide or down the middle.
Or at their feet.
Yeah, where to aim.
Yeah.
So aiming at their feet, so they have to pop it up.
Yeah.
Aiming down the middle if they're not too good at kind of covering the middle, or if they're not, especially if they're not great at communicating with their partners. Always a great place to go for.
Closing in.
Closing in, exactly. Big thing as well. Another big, really important thing, especially with keeping our racket out in front. When we were closing in, but our racket wasn't quite in front, we were just kind of missing a few of those shots, or maybe it felt awkward or felt like we were rushed. But I noticed once you guys really kind of kept that racket out in front there, you were closing in really, really well. So especially in that last game, we kind of talking about it a little bit at the end there. Rather than kind of staying defensive and staying at our service line, kind of closing in and being aggressive, usually the players that are more aggressive at the net, especially in doubles, are going to win most of those points, right? We don't want to be defensive, especially when we're at the net. There's a time and place to be defensive, but in that kind of math little kind of point situation there, we wanted to be kind of closing in.
Yeah.
And what were a couple, is there anything else that you guys learned?
Yeah, I think really just aiming the strings where you want the ball to go is key,
Yeah.
and stepping across.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you learned a bit from tonight. I saw a lot of great points. I saw a lot of great volleys. I saw a lot of really good improvements with our volleys.